What's it like at the Olympic Village? Well, after being here for 2 weeks, I think I've got a lay of the land, and I'd love to give you guys a tour. Starting with the major impressions though, I think Olympic Village is a misnomer. This place is like an entire city, filled with skyscrapers and its own interconnected civil infrastructure, and it even has its own fire department. It is a massive complex. It's on about 125 acres, surrounded by water on 3 sides, in the neighborhood of Harumi here in Tokyo. Over the course of the 2 weeks of these Summer Olympic Games, about 15,000 people will call the Olympic Village home. Of those, about 11,000 are athletes, and the rest are support staff, administrators, and other coaches involved. It's a reduced number because of the COVID pandemic, and there still are plenty of COVID restrictions that we all have to adhere to, including carrying a mask and trying to socially distance. Not all of it is always possible. There's certainly been some challenges. It's making for a unique Olympics that's really unlike anything else. Nonetheless, it's still a thrilling trip. I'm so stoked to be here. Even after 2 weeks, the thrill of it hasn't worn off, and I'm super excited to still be here and to show you guys some of the cool things around here. The single most striking thing about the Olympic Village is the diversity here. And it seems almost cliche to say that, but it does feel as if the entire world has been compressed into a few square city blocks, and everyone is here mixing and mingling. The range of skin tones that one sees here is pretty mind-boggling, from the super melanin-rich Bantu and Nilotic Africans to the fairest-skinned Baltics and Scandinavians. It's the full gamut of human skin tones and sizes as well too, from the tiny little gymnasts all the way to the massive basketball players and volleyball players. It's a huge range of people. I will say though that the scale tends to err towards the larger size. I'm not a short guy, but I do feel really small and really short next to some of these 7-foot basketball players and volleyball players. I can only imagine what your 4'10" gymnast feels like. And the third aspect of diversity which really strikes you here in the Olympic Village is the languages, the number of languages that you hear on a daily basis. It's just this constant linguistic assault on your brain, and it's so fascinating. It's so incredible to hear so many different languages and different dialects on an everyday basis. One striking aesthetic difference between the Olympic Village and a regular city is the decorations. The colors and flags of the different individual countries are splattered all across the buildings. You'll have the Australia House covered in green and gold. You'll have Japan with the rising sun on the side of their building, and each respective country has their own decorations for their building. Heading southwest down the village, along the long avenue of flags, one will eventually reach the Harumi Park. It includes a plaza with the Olympic rings, and then a large green space where athletes can often be found training, either running around the track or hanging out in the middle of the grass, sunbathing, and enjoying the warm Japanese weather. Behind me are the iconic Olympic rings, and basically there's a 24-hour line to get your photo taken there. Actually, right now, one of the Fijian gold medalist rugby players is getting his photo taken with the rings. Well-deserved gold medal for the Fijians. Here in the park, there's a well-worn trail from all the runners who've been using this green space as a training ground leading up to their competitions. Adjacent to the park, at the southern end of the Olympic Village, there is a memorial. It's dedicated to the deceased. It's a place of mourning, a place of grieving, and athletes can write notes and hang them on the tree in remembrance of their loved ones. Just behind that, there is an abandoned playground. It's been cordoned off due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And if there's anything here in the village that feels just a little bit dystopian, it's right here. An abandoned playground next to a memorial for the deceased in the midst of a deadly global pandemic. It kind of puts things into perspective. Underneath the Olympic Village, there's a giant network of tunnels that connect all the different buildings with a series of roads. These are used by the service trucks and by the athletes to go between buildings, to go to the laundry center, and some of the teams will actually use these tunnel areas to set up their recovery centers, to set up mini gyms, to use as storage areas. And if you just want to get off the streets, it's also another way to go from building to building. Kind of cool. Popping up above ground, there's a main intersection near the center of the village. It's adjacent to the bus stations and the security screening zones, and conveniently located next to the main dining area. The principal cafeteria is a sprawling 2-level complex that's open 24 hours a day. It serves a variety of food, from a never-ending pasta bar to grilled meats to an ambiguously named world food section, to traditional Japanese cuisine, halal food, vegetarian and gluten-free meals, salad bar, dairy zone, seasoning and flavoring bars, dessert bars with way too many tempting cakes, industrial-sized ice cream bins, and much, much more. And although I'm the furthest thing from a gourmandise, since I prefer to think of food as fuel rather than an Epicurean indulgence, I've been thoroughly satisfied by the selection and have enjoyed every meal I've had here. Towards the center of the village is the 3-level multi-function building, with a recreation center on the middle floor. In the rec center, there are big screen TVs to watch the various competitions, a series of video games to play, darts and ninja throwing star games, 3 ping pong tables, an origami crane project where one can leave thank you notes or other messages to our Japanese hosts, and a collection of full body massage chairs. There's also a miniature studio set covered in pink decor, and I guess it's used to take photos, or pretend you're Godzilla traipsing through Tokyo? I'm not really sure, but it's provocative and plenty of athletes have had fun with the little fantasy picture zone.
This is the casual dining space. It's a little bit less crowded here, a little bit more low-key, but what's most interesting is that they serve a different style of Japanese cuisine every single day. They rotate the prefectures, so you'll get a different cultural taste with each day. It's kind of nice. It's much more chill here too. At all the dining halls though, you do have these plastic screens on 3 sides since you have to take your mask down. It makes talking to anyone near you pretty difficult, but it's one of the many COVID measures that they've had to try and make these games possible.
This is the gym. This is effectively a place of worship for most of the athletes here. You are required to wear your mask at all times, and you're best served if you go at odd hours, just because it can get kind of crowded here at peak hours. In the gym, there are 10 curved treadmills, 32 flat treadmills, 40 spin bikes, 6 hand bikes, 5 platform combo racks, and 3 additional standalone racks. And there's also enough machines, exercise balls, plyos, boxes, and dumbbells to serve the whole village. In addition to the main gym, all individual sports have their own training facilities available to those athletes. Next to the fitness center though, there is an actual place of worship. Behind me here on the lowest level of this multifunction building is the polyclinic. The polyclinic is basically a healthcare service center, so the athletes can get free healthcare. You can do an eye check, you can do some dental checks, you can do dermatology checks. Essentially free health service for all of the athletes while they're here in Tokyo. And at least for some of the poorer or more disadvantaged countries, having an essential healthcare service like this is really integral. So you see a lot of them coming to the polyclinic and getting these important physical checkups. Here we have the fleet of autonomous Toyota vehicles where they sleep at night and dream of electric sheep. Surrounding the entire Olympic Village, you have double layer fencing, including barbed wire at the top, and then you've got security, both police and military, patrolling the surroundings of the entire village, just to make sure that everyone stays safe. So over on the east side, there's a nice park running north to south. It's got a lot of greenery in it. There's some flowers that have been planted around here. There's some miscellaneous exercise equipment in a miniature park formation, and then a long walkway that runs basically the whole village north to south. Makes for a little pedestrian byway. So this here is a hair salon where, as an athlete, it's rumored you can get a free haircut. It's different. Okay. Arigatou gozaimashita. There it is. They said I lost a dog. Well, the rumors are true. You can get a free haircut. Elsewhere in the plaza, we have the Tokyo 2020 official shop. Yep. Sanitizing hands. Thank you. Here you can get all sorts of souvenirs and curios, official Olympic gear, ASICS Olympic shoes, shirts, keychains, pins, all sorts of stuff. The
plaza here serves as the central commercial hub for the Olympic Village. It has a post office, it has a transport station, it has a bank, it has shops, a general store, the souvenir store, the barber, even has a place to get your free ASIC shoes. There's a security transfer point as well, and there's also a mix zone where the media can come. It serves as sort of the threshold between the athletes and the village, and a lot of interviews take place there. One of the other really interesting things about the plaza is that all the wood here used to construct it has come from different prefectures around Japan. And on the wood, you can actually see where the wood has come from. This is the Athlete 5G Lounge, where you have a bunch of chairs, you can hang out, chill, get a beverage. And they have a bunch of TVs here so you can stream all the different Olympic content. Also in the plaza, we have a truce mural signed by athletes from all different nations. As it reads, the Truce Mural. Olympic Games are about building bridges between all people. The Truce Mural provides an opportunity to all athletes and national Olympic committees to support the principles of the Olympic Truce, which promote the Olympic ideals of peace, friendship, and understanding in the world. Sign the Truce Mural and show your support to the Olympic Truce and to the power of the Olympic Games to unite the world.
And finally we get to the dorm rooms here in the Olympic Village. Fairly Spartan interior. We've got 3 bedrooms, A, B, and C. They're all labeled and they're all doubles. They have the famous cardboard beds, which you can see here. They've held up pretty well, although they seem to be caving in a little bit at the edges. We had our big weightlifter in this room, and he seemed to do a number on the bed. Certainly tested it out. Here in the bathroom, we've got a very Japanese style bathroom. We've got the toilet that's got the electronic bidet on it as well. Interestingly enough, it has a feature here. It says an option during washing, you have a massage, which you can use to promote your defecation. Oh, those Japanese, they certainly know how to live. Very efficient design here with the sink. We saw this in the hotel back in Fukuoka Prefecture, but it actually swivels so it can be used for both the sink and for the tub. And there's a single knob as well, so you can push it down, then you get the water for the sink, or you pull it up, and then you get the water for the shower. Pretty efficient design there. Then here in the main part of the living room, the only discernible furniture here was the table and then these Olympic colored chairs. The rest was pretty empty. We have my world flag. Oh no, it fell. That's my flag of flags that I often carry with me on tour. Some of my workout gear. And then this is my room right here. We've got the Olympic duvet that they give to us. Got the jersey that I raced in, American Samoan flag. This is my little computer desk where I'll be editing this video. And then I got computer gear, camera gear, extra sports gear. Oh, here we've got my pin collection. So I've been collecting pins from different countries. Decent collection going on. Still have a ways to go, but I've run out of pins to trade. These are the COVID testing kits. Had to get a refill on these earlier. Although the best part about this room is the view. This is definitely penthouse view here in the Olympic Village. Overlooking the bay, Tokyo. That's the bridge that we take to get to the Olympic Stadium and the track every day. And right down there, we're looking at the Olympic rings, where we still have a line of people even though it's late at night. And the fountain, which gets lit up with Olympic colors. May not have been close to bringing home a medal, but I do think we get the gold for best view in the entire Olympic Village. In summary, the Olympic Village is a magical place that, in my mind, has lived up to its billing. Pandemic or not, there's an undeniable charm about the village that gives it a Disneyland sense of wonder. Sure, there's room to critique it. Like Disney World, one could say that there's an undertone of disenchanted artifice inherent to its construction, or one could point out the impossibility of 100% COVID-proofing the place. Or one could nitpick that the elevators are slow, the gym gets overly crowded, or the cafeteria didn't have the exact flavor of tea that one is accustomed to back at home. But in spite of those persnickety details, it's really hard to be cynical in a place like this. Making the Olympic Games happen and organizing a miniature city to support the completion is an unbelievable logistical achievement, and that's made doubly difficult during a pandemic. Notable challenges and valid criticisms aside, there's something undeniably special about seeing the entire world converge in a single place to take part in fraternal athletic competition. And in a world that's rife with war, famine, sickness, economic turmoil, and an ongoing plague, it's a breath of fresh air to enjoy 2 weeks that showcase the better angels of our nature.